Did tonight's debate move the needle with swing voters? Joining us now is an expert in Undecideds, Elizabeth Giroux, market research expert for the polling company Ipsos. Ms. Giroux has conducted countless focus groups of undecided voters and has a few she's going to conduct tomorrow in response to tonight's debate. So, Elizabeth, did you hear anything tonight that you believe would move the needle among undecideds?
I think, well, let me just start with this. It was a much more respectful debate than we've seen. Also, it was focused on the issues. So I know that when I talk to undecided voters tomorrow, for example, they're going to be happy about that. And I think I saw a clip right before this where a young student was saying the same. They were hoping that they focused on the issues. So that's going to be a big plus. With regard to the issues, I felt like they're going to feel like many people watching did, that Vance had a really strong start. And then Waltz kind of came in right around the women's rights time and sort of found his own stride. And then Waltz probably ended on a stronger note. So remember, undecided voters are really, truly undecided. So they're able to be a little bit more objective. And I have a guess that that's what they're going to tell me tomorrow.
And interesting on that issue of abortion, Vance was almost conciliatory about some of his previous comments, saying, hey, we need to win back your trust. Is that something that can win that voter, that woman voter that perhaps is on the fence, that does believe in a woman's right to choose?
So what's interesting about undecided voters is that some of them follow politics a lot and that some of them don't follow politics at all. For those that don't follow politics at all, they're going to hear that comment and say, yeah, we do need to earn back the trust of voters. And they might like that about Vance. For those who follow politics more often, they're going to know that that's not really the policies that he's been espousing up until now. And so there's going to be a disconnect there.
And you've mentioned with us before the top polling issues for undecided voters are the economy, really inflation, democracy, and immigration. How do the candidates perform on those issues?
Your quick study. That is exactly right. I felt like Vance did better on the economy. It is a stronger issue for the Trump campaign. And that is by far the number one issue for most folks. What's interesting about the economy, though, I just want to take a second to say this. There are two sort of split ways to think about the economy. One is inflation, and that is clearly what polls the highest in terms of the major issue. But the other way to think about it is this, does the economy work for everyone? And actually, Harris does better in that regard. If Waltz wanted to do better in the debate, he should have focused in that area, which he did not. Immigration is a different story. I felt like I don't know where that one's going to net out, to be honest with you. The third issue is political extremism, and I feel like Waltz probably had a bit of an advantage in that area.
Certainly, that last exchange, they focused a lot on January 6th and conceding the election. Can a presidential running mate influence a close election like this? Can it tip the scales among undecideds one way or another?
Well, the party line is the VP debate will not make a difference in the election. However, this is no normal election, right? So we don't firmly know. My guess is, seeing what I saw here tonight, and neither one of them pulled ahead so far that I think is going to make a difference in terms of who someone votes for president.
And it almost goes to the notion that perhaps the strategy is just don't lose. Maybe you don't have to win, but don't do anything to embarrass the campaign or drop the ball here. So you're going to talk to a bunch of focus groups tomorrow. Yeah. What kind of questions are you going to ask them, and what kind of answers do you expect?
Well, I'll ask the one that you just asked, and I'll let you know what they say. If this made a difference, if this sort of, swayed anyone in one direction or another. Donald Trump is one of the oldest candidates that will ever run for president. He'll be older than Biden, was if he wins. And so it matters. J.D. Vance could potentially become president if Donald Trump wins, and something, God forbid, could happen to that, to Trump. Then, I'll ask about things like that. I think the closing arguments were interesting. If you really think about it, Waltz was more of a sort of positive opportunity, what we're for kind of message. Vance was more, sort of fighting against Harris and sort of what we're against message. I think that's going to be kind of interesting to dive into. Is which do they resonate with more?
All right, Elizabeth Giroux, it's going to be some fascinating focus grouping tomorrow, and we look forward to talking to you again in the future about your results.
Absolutely.
Thanks again.
Thank you.